Hey, welcome to video number 204 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things
BNI and networking.
You are, and I am Mark Simmons. No, you're not Mark Simmons, I am, but you are the queen of all things.
And it's true. As a matter of fact, I know that to be true because look,
What does that say?
here sits the queen.
Oh, well, now it's real.
She who must be obeyed.
Right. I obey you until we're off the call, and then I no longer
There's
obey
the
you.
problem. I have that to remind everybody because no one actually does obey.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good segue, though. Speaking of obey, we're working on the BNI policies.
We are. And which one are we
on? We've done 1 through 6. There's 11 policies total. Today we're on number 7. So here's the thing, Hazel. You know, you and I we visit a lot of chapters.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder when you visit chapters to know who's a member and who's a visitor, because every time you go to the same chapter, there's sort of the same people, and then you realize, oh, they're actually visitors again at the chapter again.
Even worse is I did a visitor event in Canada. It was an online one. And there were 2 visitors there who actually were ex-members, but who said, oh yeah, I substitute and visited all the chapters. So they're ex-members, they know the value, they know how to work the system, and now they're doing it all for free.
Right.
And they're just doing it over and over and over again, which is a violation of BNI policy number 7.
7, which says visitors may attend BNI chapter meetings up to 2 times. So let's get clarity on what exactly that means.
Well, here's what it doesn't mean.
Okay.
I can visit all the chapters 2 times. And I can do that on a regular basis. I can do it like every 6 months or every year. I can go visit all the chapters 2 times. That's not what that means. Okay. It means you get to visit a chapter 2 times, and then you have to decide if it's the one. Now, I personally limit to 3. You can visit, because I couldn't make a decision the first time I visited, right? And I visited the second time, and then I was ready to submit. But I had to visit 3 chapters, to find which one connected, or I was most connected to, and had the best people in the group for me and my business. So I'm pretty good with a person visiting 3 chapters and then making a decision about which one. When I run a visitor report, I notice people who have visited chapters 17, 18 times.
Right.
Like they're just constantly coming into the group. And every visitor they get re-invited back, because I did call one of them and say, notice you're visiting our chapters pretty regularly. Why haven't you, I need to tell you why haven't you picked one? Oh, it's just not suited for me. And why are you still visiting? And then the other one was, well, I need to ask you to stop visiting. Oh, but they keep inviting me, and you need to turn them down, and I will make it clear that you're not to be invited to any more chapters.
Yeah.
Because you have visited enough chapters enough times that you should be able to make a decision. So if you want to visit another chapter, that means you're prepared to put in an application and money. Because here's the thing, Mark. BNI members pay to be members, right? And they go through a lot of education too. They learn how to ask for referrals, 10-minute presentations. They've got an app. They've got all of these benefits of membership. And if those benefits of membership are valuable, why are we giving it away? Why are we letting so many people have it for free, like the regular sub who comes in all the time? And that's sometimes a visitor. Yeah. Right? Because I hear visitors say this in fact, that event that I went to in Vancouver, where I did the speaking, there was a visitor who said, I can't join, but I'll substitute for you anytime. I just don't have the time to join, but I'll substitute. Now, if you have the time to substitute so much, you also have the time to be a member. Right? So you're just giving a membership away to someone when you constantly let people take advantage of that. Yeah. And it devalues your membership because you paid money and time to get what you're getting.
Right. And we also, we've talked about this in many of the past Walker This Way videos too. a lot of times what happens is the visitors end up getting referrals from the members in the meeting, or there's thank you, my visitor, for coming. You need to refer business to them. They're really amazing. They're really great. You know, they go on and on. But as we
You're
said
giving
before,
for free what you just paid for.
right. And as a member, you were interviewed, you were vetted, your references were called, you build connections, you do one-to-ones before you even get a referral from anyone in your chapter. But now you're going to give a visitor who you don't know a referral. You don't know anything about them.
A total stranger.
Total stranger.
Now, I'm happy to give them an introduction to somebody that I know. I'm happy to give them a lead. Hey, I drove by a McDonald's, their exit sign light was out and you replace exit sign lights. But that's not a referral. I'm not putting my name on it because I don't know you well enough. Right? I don't know you well enough. So yeah, it is a big problem when you are allowing visitors to over and over and over again to visit your chapter when you know they're not going to apply. And the reason members give referrals, and they say this to me, oh, we give them referrals because maybe if they get some referrals, they'll make enough money to join. Because we have had people who said, I don't have the money to join. And she said she doesn't have the money to join, so we gave her some referrals so she could join, but she didn't join. Doesn't mean everybody doesn't join. Maybe somebody has done that, but it's not a good reason to hand off referrals to a stranger.
Right.
Right. So if your membership is valuable and your time is part of that value and all the education and all of the stuff that we do, why are you giving it away for free?
A really great question. And the other thing we should address too is we've talked in other videos about, especially in traffic lights, earning points as opposed to chasing points. And a lot of times this inviting the same visitor over and over and over is a chasing points thing. It's just to get points.
Well, they can't really do that anymore because they only get one.
Right. And in Connect, just so everybody knows, inside of Connect, when the vice president is marking attendance or whoever's marking attendance in the chapter, there's a checkbox for visitor. There's a checkbox for repeat visitor, right? And then there's a checkbox for substitute and a checkbox for guest. Those are the checkboxes. And so by marking the visitor the first time they come, that's the only first time a visitor comes to your chapter, which a visitor is someone who has the potential to put in an application, right? They represent an empty seat. They're not another BNI member for another chapter. It's only the first time they visit of the two, they're counted as a visitor. The second time, they're a guest now. Oh no, they're the second, it's their second visit, but it doesn't count for the traffic light point when they come the second time.
Yeah, and I go in every so often and I pull a visitor report just to see who we've got that's violating that a lot. And then I have to have conversations with the chapters about it. Ultimately, you remember we had the one person who was kind of doing the same thing, but she was charging a fee to be a substitute.
Yes.
And I had to call and put a stop to that one. And she was in a classification. She could have joined any chapter.
Right.
Like she was in a classification that would have been a good fit for any chapter, but instead she was making money doing the substitute thing and getting business from the chapters.
Right. I've also been to a chapter when a visitor has walked in, a member has called one of the members and said, oh my God, I can't make it today. And then they go to the visitor, hey, you're now a sub. You're going to sub for this person. You don't have to pay for the meeting due. Okay, now you're in. Like,
I saw that too. And I actually did ask some visitor, because I was standing behind the visitor who signed in, who invited you, Oh, we have a member who's absent. When you stand up, you could be their sub today, and then you won't have to pay for your meal and stuff. And when I got up there to them, and I afterwards, I took them aside and I went, tell me where else you make people lie. Because you just told, and what they just found out from you was that you guys are not honest. Because she's standing up there saying she's a substitute when she never was a substitute, she was a visitor. So you turned your visitor into a liar.
Right.
And that is not okay. And they had never actually thought about that. They were just doing a favor for their member. But your members need to be responsible for themselves. Right. You need to treat the visitor as the utmost royalty. Right? You treat them
the visitor.
Yeah. exactly. So, yeah, I've heard that done too, and that is, I don't like that. That really bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
Because now you've asked me to lie, and you've asked me to do something on behalf of someone I don't even know.
So to bring this home and to bring clarity, so there is no, kind of fuzzy gray area, a visitor is allowed to attend your meeting 2 times. On the 3rd time, they need to make a decision whether they're joining.
On the 3rd time, they come with the application.
3rd time's the application, or it's done.
Yeah, don't come back a 3rd time. If you're not going to come, if you're not coming in because you submitted an application before you got there, because they're online now,
Yeah.
don't come a 3rd time.
Yeah.
Second
And they're not
time,
filler for a visitor's day either.
Nope.
Visitor's day is specifically membership growth.
Right.
And if they haven't put in an application, they're not doing it then. You don't need the point. It's not about that. You want the right people in the room. It takes a little more work. However,
Let me just clarify one thing. A guest can come more than 2 times
Mhm.
because they can't join your group anyway.
Right.
Right. So I've had guests that have come in repeatedly because they're like, yeah, I need to meet with the roofer. I need to meet with the like they come in to buy again.
Yeah.
They kind of use it like a shopping mart.
Right. But let's clarify that too. But that doesn't, a guest, you could say, is the a mortgage broker you're bringing as a guest. And
No, not someone that's not regularly, especially if they're in a cat. Well, but actually a guest is someone that really couldn't join any group.
right.
Like, it's like my mother was always a guest.
Yeah.
Like, because she was a guest and she knew a lot of people and she passed a lot of referrals. No, a guest is someone who just isn't going to join BNI at all. They can't.
Yeah. So basically their profession is already represented in your chapter. That would be a guest.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. A guest can be someone that's their category. Let's a mortgage broker. You can bring a mortgage broker as a guest, but they only get to be the guest 1 time,
Right.
not 2. There's no reason for them because they can't ever join. They get to only visit 1 time, and they're just doing it so they get the feel of what BNI is.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. They don't substitute, and they're not visitors. A guest is more my best customer, my family members, people who aren't one of the best ones I ever saw was the vice president of the bank. He is never going to join, but he gave some magnificent referrals.
Right.
And the banker brought the vice president of the bank. He was a guest, not a visitor.
Yeah.
Right. So guests have value because they're shoppers, not someone that's already in your category. A guest like that only comes 1 time.
Okay. So I think we've cleared it up. Again, policy number 7, visitors may attend BNI meetings up to 2 times. They either know if they're going to put in an application or they're not. And that's it.
And after that, I reach out to them and I'm like, stop it.
All righty. So next time, Hazel Walker, we're going to do policy number 8. What is it? You'll find out then. Till next time,
week.
Hazel. Bye.
Bye.